Imagine a holy city swollen with over 1 million pilgrims, celebrating one of the most sacred festivals in their faith. The streets are alive with prayer, sacrifice, and joy. Then, without warning, 4 massive Roman legions, 80,000 battle-hardened soldiers, encircle the walls like a noose tightening around the neck. Supplies are cut off. Escape is impossible. Inside, rival factions tear each other apart even as the enemy closes in. Starvation sets in, turning proud men and women into shadows of themselves. People devour leather from belts and shields, chew on cow dung, scrape old hay from rooftops. Desperate deserters who slip out are caught and crucified. 500 in a single day, their twisted bodies displayed as a warning. And in the depths of madness, a mother, driven beyond human limits, slaughters her own infant son, roasts his flesh, and eats it to survive. When rebels discover her, even they recoil in horror. Finally, the sacred heart of the city, the magnificent Second Temple, gleaming with gold, erupts in flames, its treasures looted, its sanctity shattered forever. Over 1 million dead, a religion transformed, an entire civilization's path altered for 2,000 years. This is not a nightmare from fiction. This is the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD, one of the bloodiest, most horrifying battles in human history, a tale of revenge, desperation, and irreversible change that still echoes today. Stay with me, because the disturbing details you're about to hear are backed by eyewitness accounts, and they reveal truths far darker than most history books dare to tell. To understand how Jerusalem reached this catastrophic breaking point, we have to go back a few years. In 66 AD, long, simmering tensions between the Jewish population and their Roman overlords exploded into open rebellion. The First Jewish-Roman War began with Jewish rebels scoring shocking early victories, driving out Roman garrisons, and even defeating a full legion sent to quell the uprising. This humiliation stung the Roman Empire deeply. Emperor Nero could not tolerate such defiance in one of his most strategically important provinces. He dispatched one of his most capable generals, Vespasian, with a massive force to crush the revolt. Vespasian methodically reconquered Galilee and Judea, city by city, leaving trails of destruction. But in 69 AD, everything changed. Nero committed suicide amid civil war in Rome. Vespasian was proclaimed emperor by his troops, leaving the final conquest of Jerusalem to his son, Titus, a young, ambitious commander eager to prove himself. By early 70 AD, Titus arrived at the gates of Jerusalem with an overwhelming army, 4 full legions, Legio V Macedonica, Ex Fretensis, Roman 15 Apollinaris, and Roman 12 Fulminatum, plus thousands of auxiliaries from allied kingdoms and siege experts. Estimates put his total force at around 80,000 men, equipped with the most advanced siege technology of the ancient world. Towering battering rams, massive catapults capable of hurling 50-pound stones, and enormous siege towers protected by iron plating. Jerusalem itself was no easy target. Perched on rugged hills, it was defended by 3 concentric rings of massive stone walls, some sections over 30 feet high and 15 feet thick. The city was packed, not just with its normal residents, but swollen to bursting with pilgrims who had arrived for Passover. Ancient sources, primarily the historian Flavius Josephus, estimate the population inside the walls at over 1 million, though modern scholars suggest figures between 600,000 and 1 million. Food stores were limited, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Worse still, the defenders were fatally divided. 3 rival Jewish factions controlled different parts of the city: the moderate peace party led by priests, the radical zealots under Eleazar, and the extremist Sicarii led by Simon Bar Giora. These groups hated each other almost as much as they hated the Romans. They fought brutal street battles inside the walls, burning each other's grain supplies in acts of sabotage. This infighting would prove disastrous, weakening the defense and accelerating the famine. The siege began in April 70 AD, just as Passover celebrations were underway. Titus ordered a complete encirclement, building a 5-mile long wall of his own around the city to prevent escapes or reinforcements. His engineers constructed enormous earthen ramps against the walls, allowing siege towers to roll forward and battering rams to pound relentlessly. The defenders fought back ferociously. They sortied out at night, setting fire to Roman engines, pouring boiling oil on attackers, and hurling stones from the walls. For weeks, the Romans made slow progress, losing thousands in the assaults. By May, the outer third wall fell after brutal fighting. The Romans poured into the suburbs, slaughtering residents and pushing toward the second wall. That too crumbled soon after. Now only the inner walls and the Antonia fortress protected the upper city and the Temple Mount. Titus repositioned his forces, building 4 massive ramps aimed directly at the Antonia. His catapults rained death day and night, launching stones that crushed defenders and smashed battlements. But the true horror wasn't the fighting. It was what happened inside as the months dragged on. By June and July, food was gone. The infighting had destroyed much of the stored grain. Starvation gripped the city like a plague. Josephus, who had defected to the Romans but claimed to have observed events closely, paints a nightmarish picture. People scavenged for anything edible, leather stripped from shields and belts, boiled and eaten, cow dung sifted for undigested grains, old hay pulled from roofs, bodies piled in the streets, too numerous to bury, spreading disease. Families locked their doors to hide scraps of food from neighbors. The once vibrant city turned into a ghost town of walking skeletons. Deserters tried to slip through Roman lines, hoping for mercy. Instead, they faced unimaginable cruelty. Roman soldiers, furious at the prolonged siege, crucified captives in full view of the walls. Josephus writes that sometimes 500 were nailed up in one day. To maximize terror and conserve wood, soldiers experimented with grotesque positions, arms twisted, bodies contorted, turning the hillsides into forests of suffering. The screams and stench carried into the city, breaking morale further. Then came the most infamous atrocity of the siege, a story so shocking it became legendary. Josephus recounts the tale of a wealthy woman named Mary, daughter of Eleazar, from a prominent family. Driven insane by hunger, she killed her infant son, roasted half his body over a fire, and ate it. She saved the other half when rebel fighters, drawn by the smell of cooking meat, burst into her home demanding food. She revealed the remains and said, "This is my son, and this is my deed. Eat, for I have eaten already." Even these battle-hardened men fled in revulsion, spreading the story throughout the city. It symbolized how far humanity had fallen. Cannibalism, the ultimate taboo, born from Roman encirclement and internal division. As August arrived, the end was near. The Romans finally captured the Antonia fortress after weeks of mining and ramming. From there, they battered the inner temple walls. The defenders made their last stand on the Temple Mount itself, around the Second Temple. Architectural wonder rebuilt by Herod the Great, its white marble and gold plating visible for miles, considered one of the most beautiful structures in the ancient world. Titus, according to Josephus, wanted to preserve the temple as a trophy of Roman power. He ordered his men to avoid setting it ablaze. But in the chaos of the final assault on August 30, 70 AD, the 9th of Av in the Jewish calendar, tragically the same date the first temple was destroyed centuries earlier. A soldier threw a burning torch through a window into the inner sanctuary. Flames spread rapidly through the wooden interiors and cedar panels. The gold overlay melted, running into the cracks between stones. Roman soldiers, seeing the fire as divine permission, rushed in to loot. They slaughtered priests at the altar and defenders who fought to the death. Some Jews threw themselves into the inferno rather than surrender. The temple burned for days. When the smoke cleared, Jerusalem lay in ruins. Titus ordered the city leveled, walls torn down, homes demolished. Only a few towers were left standing as a reminder of Roman might. Josephus claims 1 million died, mostly from famine and disease, with 97 zeros. Zero captured and enslaved. Modern estimates are lower, perhaps 300,000 to 600,000 dead, but the scale was still apocalyptic for the time. The survivors faced grim fates. Many were sent to gladiatorial arenas across the empire, forced to fight beasts or each other for Roman entertainment. Others labored in mines or were sold into slavery. The treasures of the temple, the golden menorah, the table of the showbread, silver trumpets, were paraded through Rome in Titus's triumph. These spoils are immortalized on the Arch of Titus in Rome, where reliefs show Roman soldiers carrying the menorah on their shoulders, image that became a symbol of Jewish defeat and resilience. But the siege's legacy goes far beyond destruction. The loss of the temple was a profound spiritual earthquake for Judaism. For centuries, the temple had been the center of religious life, daily sacrifices, festivals, pilgrimage. Without it, the old priestly system collapsed. From the ruins rose rabbinic Judaism, focused on synagogues, prayer, Torah study, and personal observance. Leaders like Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who escaped the city and negotiated with Vespasian, laid the foundations for this transformation at Yavne. The Jewish people adapted, surviving exile and diaspora in ways that preserved their identity for millennia. The siege also influenced early Christianity. At the time, Christianity was still a Jewish sect. Jesus had predicted the temple's destruction decades earlier, and its fulfillment helped separate Christianity from Judaism, accelerating its spread among Gentiles. 2,000 years later, the scars remain. The Western Wall, part of the Temple Mount's retaining wall, is Judaism's holiest site. The Arch of Titus stands as a reminder of conquest. The date of the temple's fall, Tisha B'Av, is still mourned annually with fasting and lamentations. The siege of Jerusalem wasn't just a military victory for Rome. It was a pivotal moment that reshaped religions, cultures, and history itself. It showed the terrifying efficiency of Roman warfare, the fragility of rebellion against empire, and the unbreakable human spirit in the face of unimaginable horror. What do you think? Was the destruction inevitable once the siege began, or could different choices, by Titus, by the Jewish leaders, have changed the outcome? Could peace negotiations have saved the temple? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I raid everyone. If these hidden, disturbing truths from history grip you like they do me, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're diving deep into the bloodiest battles and darkest secrets they don't teach in school. Next time, another catastrophic clash that changed everything. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.